anybody, nobody over me. There's no question. But I think Mike Jordan would say the same thing. Rest his soul. Kobe Bryant would say the same thing. Magic Johnson will say the same thing. Larry Bird will say the same thing. Shaq could say the same thing, James said. The late, great Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I don't think none of us are going to take somebody else. If there's a general manager and he's eyeballing all of us on a baseline with the #1 pick, it's going to be hard not to take.
LeBron James has reignited the GOAT debate, and somehow Larry Bird supporters have found themselves right in the middle of the conversation. The Lakers are already surrounded by uncertainty regarding LeBron's future. Luka Doncic has become the franchise's new centerpiece, Austin Reeves has emerged as a key part of the team's foundation, and now every decision in Los Angeles seems tied to LeBron's legacy. Then, LeBron made one thing perfectly clear. When it comes to the greatest basketball player of all time, he's picking himself over everyone else. That single response was enough to send fans back into one of basketball's oldest arguments. Bird supporters immediately resurfaced past comments to remind everyone that this discussion has never been just about LeBron versus Michael Jordan. The answer sounded exactly like something you'd expect from LeBron. He didn't avoid the question, give a diplomatic response, or try to please everyone. Instead, he essentially said that if he's choosing the greatest player ever, he's choosing himself. And honestly, that's the mindset you'd expect from someone at his level. Michael Jordan believed he was the greatest. Kobe Bryant carried that same confidence. Larry Bird stepped onto the court convinced nobody could beat him. That belief comes with greatness. But once LeBron said it publicly, the entire GOAT debate came rushing back. People always want to debate who's the greatest, who's the GOAT. And I really don't enjoy those conversations because every era is different, every player is different, and the rules have changed. Who would be on your Mount Rushmore? You already mentioned most of them, and honestly, there are even more. I just can't think of them all right now. That's exactly why Bird's old comments have become relevant again. Larry Bird wasn't criticizing LeBron at all. In fact, he encouraged fans to appreciate LeBron while he's still playing, because talents like him don't come around very often. That's what makes Bird's opinion stand out in this conversation. Bird is widely regarded as one of the fiercest competitors the NBA has ever seen, and even he recognizes how remarkable LeBron's career has been. He respects LeBron's longevity, his production, his complete skill set, and the way he's managed to remain elite far longer than almost anyone expected. But this is where Bird's supporters draw the line. Respecting LeBron's greatness doesn't automatically mean calling him the greatest player ever. That's the distinction. Bird can acknowledge LeBron as one of the all-time greats while still believing Michael Jordan sits alone at the top. And that's the exact position many Bird fans are taking today. They're saying LeBron's longevity is incredible, his accomplishments are historic, and his statistics are nearly impossible to dispute. But when the conversation comes down to the greatest player of
a lot of great shooters, and you're always going to leave somebody out, and people get their feelings hurt by that. I don't. I could care less. The one thing I do know, I always knew how good I was.
Right.
I didn't care what you thought of my game now, but I knew in the majority of the games I played with the team I have, we're going to win.
That's what gives the Larry Bird perspective so much weight. Bird actually competed against Michael Jordan. He witnessed Jordan before the championships, before the Bulls dynasty, and before the rest of the basketball world accepted him as the gold standard. Bird recognized almost immediately that Jordan was different. That's why so many fans value his opinion. Bird wasn't known for handing out compliments just to be nice. He was a 3-time MVP, an NBA champion, and one of the smartest players the game has ever seen. So when someone with that resume speaks that highly of Jordan, many people view it as meaningful proof. At the same time, the current situation in Los Angeles only adds more fuel to the discussion. LeBron isn't being evaluated solely on everything he's already accomplished. Now, people are also judging how the final chapter of his career unfolds. The Lakers are clearly building around Luka Doncic. Austin Reeves has become an important part of the team's future plans. The roster still has noticeable weaknesses, and LeBron's next move remains uncertain. Because of that, every new storyline becomes part of the conversation surrounding his legacy. If he stays and the Lakers fall short, critics will use it against him. If he leaves, they'll call it another team change. And if Luka fully takes over, many will say LeBron's era
have to be very careful with what they give to LeBron James because every dollar they give him is less money they can give somebody else. And while I believe that Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic are a powerhouse backcourt and will score a ton of points and will lead to many wins, if you have those two guys as your backcourt making $100 million a year, because that's what they're going to make.
That's what makes this debate feel different right now. It's not taking place in isolation. LeBron's future is directly connected to where the Lakers are headed. Luka Doncic is entering his prime of his career. The Lakers can't afford to wait forever, and LeBron is still searching for the kind of ending that strengthens his legacy instead of giving critics more reasons to question it. Bird fans are pointing to this moment as the biggest difference between generations. Michael Jordan's final run with the Bulls ended with a championship. Larry Bird's peak didn't last as long, but those years are remembered for complete dominance and unmatched toughness. LeBron's career has lasted longer than either of them, but the closing chapters have become much more complicated. To be fair, not all of that falls on LeBron. Since winning the 2020 championship, the Lakers have made several questionable roster decisions. They've constantly changed supporting pieces, pursued big-name players, struggled to build a balanced roster, and haven't consistently surrounded LeBron and Anthony Davis with the right team to compete at the highest level. Now, with Luka in the picture, the same question is being asked once again. Are the Lakers truly building a championship contender, or are they simply collecting star power and hoping talent alone is enough?
We are so excited that the summer of 26 is here. In a way, that's putting the pressure solely on the Lakers front office. We're going to do our part. We were the leading scorer in the NBA this year. We were the MVP of the league. We're going to be fully healthy coming into next year. Now, give me a roster that I can win a championship with.
This is exactly what makes LeBron's GOAT claim so much more difficult to defend. The moment you call yourself the greatest player ever, every part of your career gets judged by a completely different standard. A great regular season isn't enough anymore. Still putting up incredible numbers at 40 years old isn't enough either. The questions become much bigger. Can you still lead a team to a championship? Can you still take over an entire playoff series? Can you still be the biggest reason your team beats the NBA's best? It may seem like an impossible standard, but that's the expectation that comes with claiming the GOAT title. And this is where Larry Bird supporters believe their argument gets stronger. Bird's legacy was never built around longevity. It was built around the incredible impact he made during his prime. From the moment he entered the NBA, he completely changed the Celtics. His shooting, court vision, and basketball IQ transformed games. He captured 3 straight MVP awards during one of the toughest and most physical eras the league has ever seen. He didn't have LeBron's athleticism, but his skill, confidence, and competitive fire made him one of the most dangerous players on the floor every single night. Bird's layup for 2, behind the back to Bird, oh my goodness, how did he do that? That's why Bird fans push back whenever the GOAT conversation turns into nothing more than LeBron versus Michael Jordan. They believe too many people overlook the legends who changed basketball before the social media era. Larry Bird wasn't simply one of the greatest shooters ever, he was a complete offensive genius. He saw passing lanes before defenders even realized they existed. He controlled the pace of games without needing the ball in his hands every possession, like many stars do today. And many of his supporters believe that if Bird played in today's spacing-focused NBA, his production would be even more impressive. But this debate isn't just about Bird being overlooked. It's about what each generation values the most. LeBron supporters point to unmatched longevity, complete all-around production, durability, and carrying teams for more than 2 decades. Jordan supporters focus on peak dominance, an undefeated finals record, scoring excellence, and a relentless competitive mentality. Bird supporters emphasize elite skill, basketball IQ, toughness, and the psychological pressure he put on opponents every time he stepped onto the court. That's exactly why this debate never truly ends. Everyone is measuring greatness by a different standard. LeBron had 31 and 10, Steph Curry finished with 38 points, and look at this, LeBron James is now just one 30-point game away from tying your GOAT for the most 30-point games in NBA history. LeBron James is phenomenal. He's one of the greatest players ever. He's on basketball's Mount Rushmore, but he's not Michael Jordan. That clip brings today's version of the GOAT debate right back into focus. Stephen A. Smith and plenty of other analysts continue making the same point. LeBron's greatness isn't being questioned, but for many people, Michael Jordan still remains the gold standard. Bird supporters see that as another reason their position carries weight. If Michael Jordan is still viewed as the benchmark, then Larry Bird's praise for him becomes even more significant. When one of the fiercest competitors the game has ever seen recognized Jordan as different, many fans believe that opinion means more than any debate happening on social media today. At the same time, LeBron supporters have an incredibly strong argument of their own. No player in NBA history has sustained excellence the way he has. He entered the league as a teenager with enormous expectations, won championships with 3 different franchises, became the NBA's all-time leading scorer, remained an elite player into his 40s, and still has the ability to dominate the basketball conversation whenever he speaks. That's truly historic. Even the respect Larry Bird has shown LeBron proves that the older generation understands just how rare a career like this really is.
Yep. MJ. Yep. Kareem. Yep. Steph. What are you going? They're sitting at the same table. These guys are sitting at the same table. Magic, Bird, Tim Duncan. They're all sitting at the same table. Kobe. They're all sitting at the same table.
I disagree with you.
I would say the top 10 are all sitting at the same table.
And that's really where this conversation comes full circle. Larry Bird fans aren't bringing up his old comments simply to criticize LeBron. They're bringing them back because they believe the GOAT debate has become far too limited. It shouldn't be reduced to LeBron's statistics versus Michael Jordan's championships. It's also about Larry Bird's skill, Magic Johnson's leadership, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's longevity, Kobe Bryant's mentality, Bill Russell's unmatched winning, and how every generation produced its own version of greatness. The current Lakers situation has only amplified the conversation. LeBron is approaching a major turning point in his career. Luka Doncic is becoming the centerpiece of the franchise's future. The Lakers have difficult decisions to make about where the organization is headed. And through all of that, LeBron has remained confident that if he's choosing the greatest player ever, he's choosing himself. That belief is part of what has defined his entire career. But it's also the reason fans from every era continue to push back with their own arguments. Bird fans answered with history. Jordan fans pointed to dominance. LeBron fans responded with longevity. And the reality is that every side has a legitimate case. What makes Larry Bird's old comments so meaningful is the balance they provide. Bird never dismissed LeBron. He praised him. He encouraged fans to appreciate him while they still could. At the same time, Bird came from an era where greatness was measured differently. Through intimidation, legendary rivalries, championship success, and earning the respect of other all-time greats who recognized you as something special. That's why this debate has come back to life once again. LeBron declared that he believes he's the greatest of all time. The uncertainty surrounding the Lakers has made conversations about his legacy even louder. Luka's arrival has reshaped the future in Los Angeles. And Larry Bird supporters have reminded everyone that